Matteo, I see your pre-launch page is up.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually want to thank everybody who subscribed. We're 1 month in with a pre-launch, and we've already reached almost 1,000. We're close to 1,000 people. So thank you for everyone who subscribed, and for everybody else, just, go to my Kickstarter page. You'll find it in the description, and just click on the notify me button.
All right. The bottom line is this. Head to the Fourth Father Kickstarter page, hit notify me now, because this is going to be the hottest campaign in the history of all of Kickstarter. Am I wrong?
You're probably wrong, but whatever.
No, you're not wrong, I guess, in order to support my friend.
Quote unquote friend.
Yeah.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
No, kidding.
Welcome to the Inkpulp podcast. We were joking with our special guest, Sia, about Matteo starting a new intro to like the brother to his outro. And Eric loved the idea, right, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of...
It's very spontaneous.
You want to talk about brother, it's like incest pain. You know what I mean? For me. Anyway, not to take anything away from our amazing guest, Sia. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
This is your second time. You didn't learn your lesson the first time that you were here.
I was like, maybe this time I could rebuttal everything because my camera's working okay. So.
Oh, sure. You're doing all right. You're doing just fine.
So far, so good.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you for having. Thank you for having Shawn. Thank you for having us on your.
Yes, Shawn. Thank you. Thank you, Shawn.
Stupid show. Can we talk very briefly about this stupid show? We just got back from New York Comic Con. And you guys have in the past talked about how many people sort of like check in at the table and say, hey, really love the podcast. And me personally, I thought you were lying straight up. Like nobody comes to the table and talks about this stupid podcast. But lo and behold, this New York Comic Con, people would come up and like, oh, I love the stuff that you guys are talking about. And so at first I was like, oh my gosh, they weren't lying. They were good. And then I'd realize these guys are all paid actors. Every single one. We paid a decent amount.
New York Comic Con cost Matteo and I a good bit of money just to
Well, it's all investment, Hopefully it pays off 10 years from now.
It's a total investment
Fake
to
it till you make it.
Real quick, a brief recap on what happened at the table. People came up, loved the show, and as a matter of fact, Maddie got a lot of love for a lot of the Fourth Father previews that you were handing out. So congratulations, pal. That was really super awesome.
That was awesome.
I'm sure we'll do a recap show, so I'm not gonna bombard everybody with that here. Shawn, congratulations. Here's one. So Shawn said, I'm not going to sell any art at this show. We'll cover this later. And I side-eyed him. I was like, that's a bad mistake, dude. You're going to sell people on merch exclusively? That's a bad idea. But lo and behold, two things I was wrong about. One, people actually listen to the show. Two, people actually bought Shawn's merch. And I know for sure those guys weren't paid actors. So congratulations, Shawn.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do a recap maybe next week when Eric's not here.
Maybe next week.
Matteo and I.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me go on vacation. This stupid. We'll spare you
the recap, Eric. Just you being there, so, I know it's hard enough.
Yeah, on to the good stuff. We're going to talk to our guest now. Sia, thank you again for joining us. You have, number one, the tenacity and the bravery to come back, and the tenacity and bravery to continue to make comics. You have a Kickstarter that's already live, about to go live.
It's going to go live on the... Well, wait. Are we talking about... Is this going to be in the future?
You tell me, Shawn.
Yes.
This is futuristic.
We're live. Surprise. No. But,
we have 3 callers lined up right now. Here we go. Caller number 1. It's going to be for the future. So it's
for the future. Yes, right? Technically for the future. It was October 28th.
Yeah,
but it will be November 2nd. So it went live on the 28th of October. It's going to be hard talking about it like that.
That's okay. That's okay.
So this will come out during the campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been working on that book for easily a year and a half, right?
Technically, but I mean, I've been off and on with that thing for like 20 years. So
sure. Sure,
Oh,
but
wow.
in a more concentrated effort, about a year and a half now, you've been putting majority of your effort there, right?
Yeah, actually, no, I think it was a week ago.
Okay, you started a week ago and now it's ready. Let that be a lesson to you, Maddie. You suck at your time management. The lady did it in a week and a half.
And by the way,
joking.
congratulations to eating for eating $500,000 over there, because it's not happen, right? So
in the future that's
in the future,
definitely
that's
what's
gonna
going to
happen.
happen, right?
Are we predicting how much this is going to make by the time it goes live?
Yeah.
Congratulations on 5,000 backers and, making $350,000 on week one.
I'm going to
got
cry
to
so
$1 million right now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, Sia, talk to us about your experience with getting the pre-launch and everything ready with Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
How
Mm.
much
to hear that.
headway did you give yourself before launch with the
Also,
pre-launch?
Okay, so
just one second.
when did I-
And we haven't said the title of the project. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
please.
Matteo, please.
Yeah, what is it? What is the name of the title, Sia? Matteo doesn't know. Matteo doesn't read the prompts.
I'll let you see
Neo
the honor.
Wonderland.
Neo Wonderland. Right.
Neo
on.
Wonderland.
Neo Wonderland.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, now on to Shawn's relevant question.
Oh, okay. So, when did I talk to you about this, Eric? Was it a couple months ago? It was early September, right?
Yeah. A little bit before, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I decided right at the end of August that I had to get it out sometime in October. So it was a couple months maybe. And I have someone who's helping me with the marketing, basically, getting me to do all the different podcasts and stuff like that. And then, that's it. It's just me and my marketing guy and John, my partner, basically just a little bit. And then I've been drawing stuff constantly just to try to put it into the Kickstarter. So I'm just going to say fully all in right now, like a month nonstop. Of course, you know how that is.
That's
so.
good.
Probably not the smartest thing to do, but
I think 30 days is good. I mean, 30,
really?
60.
I feel like I'm just like, because I saw how many pages Matteo's book has. I'm like, 190 pages. When did you start that?
Yeah.
It might be a little too short, but there's also, I mean, by talking, since I'm promoting and doing the promotional for my book as well right now, it also makes sense to start really close to the beginning of the campaign, because that it means that it can stay in people's mind. Otherwise, if you wait for too long, the risk is some people might forget and some of them might die. But
That's not good.
which is not good, right? Am I right?
No, that would be horrible.
Matteo's at 1,000 a few months before he goes live. They could all go away. You could start your campaign at 0, Matteo, if everyone dies.
Yeah, especially
I can be canceled in between during the show. So
of course, that is true.
All of a sudden, 1,000 becomes
Listen,
800.
barring
500,
any of your
5
followers or
people.
contributors' deaths, Sia, I think Matteo's point is still valid, which is, I think the closer you get to the campaign, super smart. It prevents, it keeps you front of mind, and also it prevents fatigue, right? Because I think if somebody talks about it for 4 months or so, everybody's just like, oh, geez, come out already so I can support it,
Yeah.
So I think that's
right.
really super smart. And also you do an ancillary thing where it's not a purposeful reminder, but you stream every week
Saturday.
every Saturday on your YouTube channel. So that's really super smart too. Just again, any way that you can have the conversation continue during the week, before you launch, that's really super smart.
Yeah, and my fans, they always give me really cool ideas for the comic book, because I think I mentioned this a couple of times. Like last week, we came up with the main character on a hoverboard. He's drunk and he's trying to get out of there, and he lands on his hoverboard wrong, and so he pukes. And then there's it's flying cars and hoverboards, so he throws up onto maybe a person or a car or something. So I'm going to keep that in, I think, just to have it, and we'll see how that goes.
So wait, you're having your interaction with your fan base, right, with your chat, is directly impacting the outcome or potentially parts of the book. That's brave.
Yeah.
That's brave.
Well, because it's kind of like one of those stories where as long as you know exactly where it's headed in the main parts, you could probably add a couple things here and there and it wouldn't affect it much.
Yeah.
And I think it's just more personal. We invented like this arcade in the comic book where we figured out what was going to be in the arcade / comic book store / bar / I don't know,
Yeah.
other names and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I think one of the key things that, from my experience in going into that, the first installment of Arc Athena, is that when you have people who are advocating for your work because they have a sort of like investment in it, it goes so much further than any sort of money that you can spend. It goes further than going on this dumb show. I'll tell you that right now. It goes a lot further when you have somebody talking on your behalf, because and I think Shawn and I talked about this while we were walking around New York, is that when people hear about, when people feel like they're one of the first people that discovered something, they really are invested in sort of like forwarding that message and broadcasting that signal, and that's the best sort of grassroots sort of campaign, is to have people talk on your behalf how good it is. So that's a really awesome way of engaging your fan base. Really cool.
And I think it keeps you accountable too, in a way, because they see you all the time. So they could constantly be like, hey, what's going on with this thing?
For sure.
So,
That's a good
For
idea.
yeah.
Sia, how long do your streams usually run?
I mean, I do like 2 hours, and sometimes it goes a little over if I'm drawing something and I don't want to like stop, or there'll be people who show up really late and I don't want to be like, oh, we're sorry, we're cutting out now. So I will stay like another 15, 20 minutes or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But generally they know what time you start, right? Like they know.
Yeah, I'm starting to build a rhythm because we have 13 episodes. The first 2 or 3, I was just kind of figuring things out, and I realized people would show up on Saturday.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
about 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time-ish, and it would work perfectly because their kids are in school during the weekdays, so the weekends work, and then and then in Europe and stuff they could still show up. So Saturday works really well.
That's cool. That's great.
And let me ask you something. So the campaign has started. At which point are you at the? Yeah, it started. Yeah. So at which point are you into completing the book? Is it completed already, or
it's basically halfway penciled right now. So I'm doing 40 pages for sure. I might add a few more pages depending on the campaign, but I'm already halfway done penciling, and I've colored 5 and inked already. A little bit more than that. So it's a little over halfway with some stuff. So
yeah. Would you mind sending us whatever you feel comfortable is, send us files so that Jamie can have it flashing across the screen as you're talking about it? That'd be kind of great to get people cued into the stuff that you're working on.
And I'm curious about the decision to launch while you're still making the book versus the decision to launch after the book is done.
Finished.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on, like, what made you decide to go that route?
Well, I think it's like if I waited until it was done, then you're expending a lot of time and finances to try to get it done if you're not doing something else. And if you really want to focus on getting it done, then I feel like it has to be, you kind of have to see where the traction's going instead of like me getting it all done, because it could be 6 issues, at this point. And then I'd have to take on other work, that was my problem in the past, was like taking on other work while I was working on this. And so the other work would take over my time and my finances and everything. And then by the time I get to this book, it's like it's like 20 years later. Right. So it's like at this point, I have the confidence that I could do it on time, since I've been working on a deadline forever and a day. And remember, I was working on Rockefellers with Francis, like it was like a couple of weeks before I decided to make this thing happen. So then I gave myself enough leeway to do it. And so I'm working on commissions right now to keep me going, and all the money I saved up just to get it to this point. And that's why it's like, if I waited until spring, which I kind of wish I did, but then at the same time, it's like, then I'm just going to keep putting it off.
Right.
So I was like, let's just go all in right now and just hustle for the next 2 months just to get it moving. And then once that happens, then I can start working on the book, and then just kind of like live off of my whatever I have right now for the next few months. So
and it actually makes sense if you think about it. It's the original purpose of Kickstarter. Was finding funding before before finishing the thing. So it goes back to why Kickstarter was created. Like the reason why a lot of comic book artists or for other projects in general tend to be almost done with it when the campaign starts, it's because there's been there's been bad things happen in the past, whereas
Exactly.
people got
Yeah,
the
you're
money
right.
and never finished the project. But
Exactly. I think that was the main concern before, and I thought about that too. But I think I have enough of a track record now where I don't have to worry about that as much.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
not
agree.
fulfilling the book. So, but yeah, I've definitely heard of people not fulfilling campaigns, like especially in comics, and because Frank with Aspen Comics is helping me, and we were trying to work all the logistics out, and so that's kind of why I'm lucky, because they're going to keep me on track and everything, and they're helping me with the fulfillment. So I took away those big elements that would be hard, because Rups Comics is going to help me fulfill in Ohio. So it's like I don't have to store all of it and try to send it out when I'm not working. So I could just focus on the marketing and then the making of the book, and then I have my fans who are live constantly on a week where they're keeping me in check. So I'm putting all these like safeguards in so that I make sure I get it out there and like looking the way I want it to look. So that's the best I could do at this point,
Yeah,
I think it's great. I love how you've designed this to make it successful. I love all that.
Because I can't rely on myself completely to do all this. I don't know if I'm that good. I'm not Eric.
Well, and also it's a lot. Like it's even for a person who's used to do that, it's still a lot. Like I'm realizing
exactly.
now.
So how are you doing your whole, like, how are you guys with Matteo, your book? How are you distribution and then managing all of the little elements of it?
Well, fulfillment is gonna be done from two different parts of the world, because I have, hopefully we'll see how the campaign goes, but I think I'm gonna have a solid base in Europe as well, mainly Italy and France, probably something in Spain. So I'm gonna have a distributor in Europe, and all the fulfillment in the States will be done by Shawn. So
by Shawn?
Perfect. Good job, Shawn.
Yes. Well, good job. No, let's not
Inkpulp
talk
Comics.
too soon. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And
I will say,
I wanted to ask you. Sorry, just 1 second, Sia.
Go for
it. Shawn.
Shawn.
Today my brain is fucking. It's a disaster. So
just today.
Yeah, just today. Normally I'm fucking on point on everything. So Sia, have you considered that, like, or for certain that basically almost 100% of your following is gonna be coming from the States or Canada?
Well, actually, it seems like whenever I see my live stream, almost half is like Europe. And so I wish I could do what you're doing. I didn't even think about how that I would be able to do that. I mean, because I talked to a couple of people, but I would love to get distribution and printing in Europe so that, for the fans' sake, they're not paying just way more for shipping and customs than they are for the actual product. So I wish I had resources to actually figure out that whole thing on the European side. I know that, of course, there's going to be the US side, but I did the calculations for the shipping. I'm like, oh, that's why I have a digital tier, just in case like someone cannot get a hold of the book within a certain reasonable amount.
I gotta say, the digital tier should not ever be neglected. Like, just from the campaign I ran, I mean, I think I had like over 200 just digital tiers, and it was like it's a no-brainer. It's an easy thing to offer. It's a very easy thing to fulfill. And I think some people don't think about it or look past it, but I can't recommend that.
I think they do, because they don't want it to take away from the physical, which would be worth more. And I have one more question for you guys. Like, how do you feel about previewing the certain things you have in the Kickstarter tiers to either your mailing list or your fans? Like, because some people are like, oh, maybe you don't tell them what you have offered so that they have FOMO and they might want to buy something. Or there's the other where it's like, just show them everything. So I'm like, I'm kind of in between. I've told my fans what I had in mind, but I've never said exactly, publicly.
I'm of the mind. I use my newsletter, like my direct line to my fan base, to give them perks. Like, so if I can give them a preview of something, I'm all about it. And I think it helps nurture that, like, with we're in the know and being on the email list gives you these advantages. So I think it helps keep that bond good.
But you're talking specifically about telling them in advance what the tiers are gonna be, right?
Is that, or at least what I'm offering? I mean, at least at first what I'm offering, and then maybe later what the tiers are, because somebody on my live stream said it'd be nice to know what something is and how much it is so we could save up for it. And that's what we don't think about. Like, people sometimes have to save up a certain amount of money before they could get what they want. And if it launches right away and we're expecting everybody to kind of jump on it, it's like you lose that opportunity for the fan that really wants something to like didn't know he had to save up a certain amount of money. Like, if he knows there's going to be head sketches, he'd be there on day one, the first second, with his money ready to go, so he could pick up snag up like a sketch, And I think on a personal level, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. So with that being said, what would be the downside, do you think, of giving out that information to your fans ahead of time?
Yeah, I don't see it personally, but maybe other people, since a lot of people have run different campaigns. I wonder if it's more like some people have the advantage now or something like that. But then I guess by way of signing up for a newsletter, you technically already bought in and you already wanted that advantage. So I think that makes perfect sense. At the very least, they should get information, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Speaking of which, you can, since the campaign is active,
and successful, by the way, very successful,
hugely successful.
Yeah, you are right. Good job.
Wildly
You're right.
successful.
Technically, yes. It's already launched. So, like most of my pages are in black and white before I started coloring it. So it wasn't until recently people saw colors. So I'm offering a black and white edition where the cover's black and white and the interior, and then a sketchbook, of course. And then, so for the first 24 hours, which, okay, I could do 48 hours. I don't know yet. It's going to be an ash can. So I'm going to have like an exclusive ash can for
nice
people who are pre-launching. And then, like a print or something, but that's kind of where I'm going. I'm trying to keep it simple and sweet just because it's my first one. I don't want to like overdo it with all the stuff and especially the shipping costs. So it's like, I think there's 4 metal covers and then 4 variants, and they're all me because I was too short notice and too cheap to go and ask my other friends for help right now. So
no, that's all right.
No, it also, it makes a lot of sense. That's the same thing that I'm doing with my book. I'm not even doing like variants, but the fact that everything in there, it's all yours. It's great data from for when the campaign is over, because all you have obtained through the campaign is all yours. Meaning that now you exactly know how much you're worth, and there's no extra data coming from, I have this variant from this
very
famous artist, and maybe that bumps up the campaign by another 10 grand, who knows? And then the data is kind of dirty, so you don't have a clear
dirty data.
I love it.
Dirty data.
I love dirty data. I love that. No, you're completely right. And I was basically advised, like, hey, just go with all you first. This is your book. You have your name on it. Just do the variants when there's like a stretch and you made $1 million. And then you could go and ask Matteo and Eric and Shawn for covers. The Inkpulp cover.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
I like the fact that you're keeping it simple. I like the fact that you're, super focused on making sure that your art is the thing that people are paying attention to. To give you perspective, like at one point for Fourth Father, Matteo was like promising monster trucks, the Fourth Father monster truck tier, the fourth Father all European paid vacation tier, like everywhere in the book that Matteo like cites, right? You get to go there and experience it, and Matteo reads it to you. And we were like, Maddie, calm the F down. You know what I mean? You don't need to, like, that's so try hard. But, I think we're going to, he already made payments on the monster truck, so we're going to use that for something else later. But, he actually got his mind back and said, you know what? Yeah, let's make it all about the book. There's one that you said, I love the idea of an ash can, because talking strictly business for those of you who are interested. And I think there's a lot of interest when we talk about like what it takes to make these campaigns happen. I think we have to look at ways in order to make the upfront costs of anything that we do as sort of manageable as possible. Most people are like, oh, you're going to do things on the cheap. I'm like, no, we're not. I don't think anybody here is trying to put out a cheap product, but you also have to understand the business end of it to be like, this is how much this costs and this is what it's going to yield me. Some people kind of feel gross when they talk about that, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
It makes no sense.
Why would you not want to say, why would you, this is the cartoonish version. Why would you not think of things in the context, partially, not wholly, of like, this is how much it costs. And this is 3x, 300x of what it's going to bring in. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's only, we have to get a little bit more business savvy, especially now that we're taking control of the stuff that we're putting out, as opposed to saying, go, good luck. Here's the stuff that I'm drawing. I'm going to give it to somebody else. And it's going to become opaque as to how they handle things. I think for me, and I think in our offline conversations, it's similar with you, where you wanted to understand how things were being made, basically, right? Like you wanted to know, hey, when we go live, what is the printer that I'm dealing with? What's the time frame of like me being able to like promote this stuff? Like, I love that fact. And I think you share the same sentiment. No?
I think you kind of have to, like, you're right. We're taking charge now. We're saying how, like, F the man, we're going to go do our own thing. And then it's like, yeah, where do we start? And then you're just like looking around. And that's what worries me a little bit. So if you're going to F the man, you should probably kind of figure out what the alternative is. Like, it's more work, but it's definitely worth it if you do it right. Yeah. So,
Shawn is actively trying to be the man. You know what I mean? He's trying to be the gatekeeper. That's why
I am the man, Eric. I am the man.
Jesus. You said it 5 times and it became less convincing every single time that you said it. The first time that you said it with confidence. The second and third, you were trying to take it out on a date to see if it works for you. Knock it off. Just say it the one time.
And by the way, I'm the guy who F's the man at this point.
You mean, okay, I see.
Look at Eric.
That's a confession.
It's like, it goes.
So, Shawn, walk me through like parts of your campaign that potentially could help Sia out, like understanding the beginning. Because would you agree that there's 3 phases through the campaign? First, middle, and sort of like tying it up. That first one, what did you find to be critical? To be like, oh, if I had known this would be freaking great.
I don't know that I'm the person to speak
Please
on
tell
any
me.
authority.
I need help.
I mean, for me, it was all a test. It was all. I mean, you ran a Kickstarter too. It was all a test. One of the things that surprised me, we were talking about the digital tier. I was surprised at how many people bought that. But then, when the campaign ended and I fulfilled the digital side of it immediately, I had my late pledges open. I converted a lot of people who got the digital books to sales in the late pledge.
That's so cool.
So, and I know because they would message me and be like, look, I just got the digital, but after seeing it, I had to get the book. So that was, and I was on the fence about even offering a digital because like Sia said, I was like, I personally don't like to read anything digitally. I don't like digital books.
You also don't know how to read, so.
Well, right. First, I have to learn how to read.
I had that joke locked and loaded, but I was like, this guy's giving knowledge right now. Let's not interrupt him. But
not Matteo.
Not Maddie.
So I was on the fence about offering it, but I think it was talking to Jim. He was like, definitely do it, and I'm glad I did. Another thing that I'm going to definitely do next time is I went with a 30-day pre-launch. And about halfway through that, I was like, I'm going to need more time. So I extended it. So in the future, I'm going to do a 60-day pre-launch.
Wait, definitely. What was the thing halfway through it that made you go, I'm going to need more time? What was the, what was the red light that turned on?
The amount of energy I was putting into getting the word out there and the return I was getting in terms of pre-signups, I realized I had to put more work into it to get more pre-signups. I had that magic. What'd you say, Sia?
I'm on the same boat right now with like you're pushing so hard for the pre-launch, but then if you're not giving yourself enough time because the algorithms are working against you, because as soon as I see the word Kickstarter in a URL, there's like
that's another thing I learned too. That's a big one. Like I mean, I had spent, as you all know, years like really getting to know how to use social media, grow my social media, how to make posts perform better. And I was like, all right, I know what I'm doing. But the minute you add that Kickstarter name into anything you're doing, the algorithm just buries it a bit because it's telling people.
Really?
Because it's basically telling.
That's something I've been doing over the past 2 months. That's awesome.
But you have to do it. The thing is, you have to do it.
You have to do it though. Yeah,
you have to.
But that's why you want more time.
That's why I want more time. But the reason being, which I understand, is they see Kickstarter and they're like, oh, you're trying to get people to leave Instagram now. We don't like that. We want people to stay on Instagram. So, I mean, you can get creative with it. And I tried a bunch of things, but in the end, I was just like, you're just going to have to mention it and accept that it won't perform as well as the other posts. But I did find that's where the whole Dr. Pulpenstein campaign came from, was I wanted to entertain, to get people's attention. And I think that helped the Kickstarter thing not hurt
And also,
as
you
much.
wanted to wear a wig.
Well,
That's a minute.
He's had that wig for 16 years now. He's just been looking for a reason. And he was like, now is the freaking time. Is there something
speaking of wigs,
go ahead.
Speaking of wigs, I think I'm going to be, I was, if you're talking about the future, I was Bob Ross on my live stream for Halloween.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
I was and am going to go get the wig. I went on Amazon, and I don't know about the beard because I'm a little paranoid that it's going to be too scratchy. So I'm like, do I paint it on or do I wear like an actual thing for a little bit? So spoiler alert, but then people are going to see it. And then by the time they see this, it'll be from the future. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I think the great part of it, I'm of two minds, right? One is you got to beat the algorithm where it's at, as opposed to dismissing it. But then it also breaks my heart that you kind of need to do that level of like cult of personality where it just can't be about the product anymore because it's just so hard to stand out, you know?
I mean, my thought on that is I understand the idea that it breaks my heart, but at the same time, I think it's just, that's what marketing is. You've got to nothing is just like, hey, here's this awesome thing, go buy it. Like that's just never going to work and that's everyone's default. Like, here's my book. It's awesome. Get it.
Yep,
but
I agree.
I mean, I'm enjoying the process of learning how to market. And for me, my big takeaway from Kickstarter was that my whole marketing campaign, the whole idea of Dr. Pulpenstein fighting the artificial intelligence out there, really helped my campaign a lot. And it also made it fun for me. I think when you turn the marketing into a job, people will feel that and it won't be successful. If you can find a fun way that you enjoy doing, and the people will respond to that.
You're right. I think my only hang up right now is the lack of time I have to plan some really cool marketing things. Cause I just made a trailer. I think I released it a couple of days ago for fun. Not for fun, on purpose, but I spent I didn't sleep until 5 a.m. to get it out there. And I was going to wait. Then I'm like, F it. I'm just going to throw it up on the internet. And if I wake up and somebody signs up, that's cool. Yeah. So that's fun. But I wish I would have had a little bit more leeway or time just before doing some of these things that require a little bit more thought and effort, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a genuineness to having something be cobbled together at last minute, you know? And if Shawn's campaign is proof of anything, that's absolutely true. To be like, oh, that dude put it together in the master bedroom closet, it's whatever was available. But it's also, but again, I think people react to a level of authenticity that thing did. Shawn didn't take it too seriously. People understood that Shawn didn't take it too seriously and allowed people to buy in a little bit more and ultimately pique curiosity, which is what I think Shawn's point was, to bring attention by piquing curiosity. So go find that thing. In my opinion, the simpler it is, the better. The higher production it becomes, the people kind of react negatively to it because it starts to feel like they're being sold to,
you're right.
Yeah. There's truth to that too.
There's also this other component which is more psychological for you, which is the more time you have, the more you try to build up all this thing and all this marketing thing, the more your internal expectations start rising up. And then
true.
They get to a point
this must
where
be amazing.
you're never gonna be able to match those. So whatever happens then in the campaign, it's gonna be disappointing because it's never gonna be at that level, you know?
Right.
So I think there's a positive aspect to what you're doing, as Eric was saying. I was just analyzing from another point of view, but it's
that's you make a great point. And if I make $1 million, I have you guys to thank. Where I was just like, F it, and just throw everything up there and see where it goes.
The truth is, you've already made $1 million. We're just talking about it after the fact.
Yeah, you're right. We're talking about it from the future.
Yeah. All right, see, let's, now that we've talked ad nauseum about like campaigns, by the way, in this group, I think Shawn's feedback, I find biggest takeaway wise, I was watching Matteo the entire time going, I'm not doing any of those things. And I can feel his butthole pucker from all the way across the ocean, to be like, oh shoot, I better find a wig,
Well, let me just say
in general,
this.
since my situation, I should find a wig no matter what.
Well, let me just say this in response to Eric. There's no one way, and we're all out here. This is the Wild West. We're all out here just throwing stuff at a wall to see what works. And what works for someone doesn't mean it'll work for someone else. So I think that as long as you do it and get it done, you'll learn from it, and that's the important part.
Yeah. And I think also on top of it all, it has to point to the product, right? It has to point to the comics because as much hype and as much fanfare, whether it be the super budget version or the super expensive version, at the end of the day, when your fan base gets the book, that's where the rubber meets the road, that's when they'll decide to come back for the next one and continue to support or to say, hey, I'm stepping away. You're stacking things in your favor by, number one, getting as close to done as possible, doing it all on your own, reaching out to a really loyal and dedicated fan base. But if that book is, subpar, and there's multiple categories of what could be defined as subpar, but all at once, all at the same time, subpar, boy, you're in a world of hurt. So I'm glad I've seen some of the artwork, and knowing your history leading into the book, I can attest to it won't be for the lack of quality in the art, that people aren't going to be paying attention. Here's hoping now that everything else catches up to it. Maddie said something interesting to me 3 weeks ago when we were talking about Fourth Father. Like, I don't know if you've seen anything Fourth Father related, but it is.
I have, yes, for sure. I follow it.
We're going to talk about Maddie like he's not in this room because I'm going to compliment him right now and it's not going to feel good. But I've seen like everything that I've seen so far it makes me angry to look at it, And he added something else this weekend where I said, hey, Matt, how big are these pages? Fully expecting them to be closer to like Matt doesn't deal with inches. He deals with centimeters because it makes things on him look bigger, Anyway, so I said, how big are these original pages? And he goes, oh, they're 1-to-1. And I was reading it. I got angrier. I was like, what do you mean they're 1-to-1? You can't be this level of tism, that you did everything 1-to-1. But he goes, no, it's 1-to-1. And he took a photo of it where his hand was next to it. And I'm like, you have massive hands. I got totally distracted. But they are pretty close to as printed, right, Matt? And that was by design, right?
Can you talk about that? It's the same size. It's literally the same size. Oh my God,
it's so annoying. Oh, I forgot. You're not in the room, so shut up. So like, he was talking about this 3 weeks ago. I was so enamored with the art of how good it was. But then he said something critical. He's like, well, you can like the art, but who knows if you haven't even read the story yet. And I was like, oh, right. And that is really where you're sticking your neck out as a creator. If all you've ever done is art chores for a book. And so, I commend you and Maddie and potentially Shawn very soon about like sticking your necks out and saying, hey, I'm not just going to be the art component of the book anymore, right? I'm actually going to write my own stuff. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you can be back in the room now, Maddie. I opened the proverbial door.
Actually, I have a question for Matteo to follow up with Eric.
Can I go with my question first? Because it relates to what Eric just said. So, Sia, are you using some help with the story, meaning an editor, somebody who gives you notes, or it's just you and
it's just me?
Awesome.
It's just me. I mean, I would bounce ideas with like my marketing guy and Vince Hernandez, and David Wool was helping me for a while. So I'll like ask him for some feedback on something, but overall, maybe I might have to proofread something once the lettering's done, but I don't really have like full on help because I feel like, like in Japan, I'm not sure how often they do this where you just got to get that thing out there and moving. And there might be some quirks and some things that perceived in Western comics might be mistakes, but I think that's people could overlook that because they see that the creator is just like, it's all them, good or bad. And then there's more of something that sticks when it's like that. So,
yeah. Well, also, and this is the reason why I'm doing the same thing. is that once the book is out and the people read it, if there's something, again, it's all about data. Like if there's something that's wrong, let's put it this way, about the book, it's at least it's you, and it's not like all the other 7 voices that
you can't blame your editor.
Right.
Yeah, you can't blame your editor for changing something that you really wanted to keep in, like puking on a hoverboard. Your editor would have been like, "Isn't that a little crass and tacky?" It's like, I know, but it's an inside joke. My fans would get it. Yeah. So it's one of those things, right? Like you'd rather blame yourself for a stupid move you made instead of being able to blame everybody else that you work with. Like, oh, it was their fault that, something looked a little funny. So
Does this make sense to you, Shawn? Are you bringing on writing help for your book?
I am not. I was actually going to be my second question. I was going to get into.
Oh, sorry.
I want to do this. I want to do this me. I mean, I just want to see how I do. I don't want to. If after this, then if I need an editor, sure. But
I think so.
You think so?
You're going to need an editor is what Sia is saying. You're going to need an editor hard.
No, what I meant was like, try it out the first time, right? And
but I mean, I'm going to have like someone do the like spell check and proofreading and that stuff. But as far as like the story stuff, I mean, I'm probably going to send
spell check. You're going to need it, brother. I see the stuff that you write. Yeah.
I know.
I think Kenneth Rocafort did the same thing where it says in his book proofreader, but he did everything else himself.
Yeah.
So that's what we're all doing.
Yeah. What a crazy time that we're in, where we're just like, you know what, we're just going to do these books ourselves. Exactly. And we actually have the means to be able to do it and pass or fail. We're able to do it under our own steam. This is the kind of dream space. I sometimes see online discourse about how tough it is to make any sort of headway and cut through the noise when it comes to like creator-owned books, right? I think between the 4 of us, we have a distinct advantage because we already have a couple of professional notches set on our belt, but not really that much of an advantage, because it would be different if nobody else could come in and do their own books. You know what I mean? But since the sea it's a vast ocean of what's available out there, anybody can come in and sort of publish their own books and make that next thing. I look at it in contrast to where we all sort of came from, which is this stuff was inaccessible. Thinking about printing your own stuff, getting it out to people, having them contribute to it almost 1-to-1, and then somehow get it distributed to them was near impossible just as recently as 10 years ago. And Kickstarter was around back then. So the fact that people are taking the initiative now and saying like, yeah, I can do this on my own, and find the resources and the infrastructure to be able to get it out to people, that's freaking awesome. So anytime I hear that online discourse, like, oh, how tough it is, I'm all like, dude, 20 years ago is impossible. 20 years ago.
Yeah, now it was impossible then, and now it's. And I think maybe this is the first phase where we're trying to break through the noise, but there's always like that different phase 1, phase 2. I think we're at phase 2 where we could all make these. It's still a lot of noise, but eventually phase 3 is where it breaks out of that noise. And then maybe like what Shawn's doing with the publishing company and stuff, you end up with something because you keep pushing while everybody else is like, oh, this is too much work. You kind of wean out everybody who's not willing to do it a second time, a third time, or take the money that you make the excess and build an actual company with it instead of like, oh, I always wanted a Lamborghini, I'm going to go get one right now. Right. So it's one of those things where I told myself if I made a certain excess amount, I would put it back into the next book. And also I would probably want like a physical business of some sort. Like I was talking about a small arcade where you could sell your own books and your friends' books, and it would tie in with the comic book in a way. And so I was looking at locations in Montana where I could do that because rent is cheap, and there's a need for that for like kids to go and do something. So I was like, we could charge for kids' birthday parties, and so it's all ages where they could go and read comics, play video games, pinball, whatever, what have you, and whatever you can. And then since we're all artists, we design our spaces a certain way so it looked like the 1980s, 1990s. Neon stars and paint the walls with murals with brick walls and dim lighting. I mean, imagine a kid walking into that environment and just their mind is blown because they've never seen anything like that. For sure. So if I made $1 million, which I did, according to us, from the future, I would totally buy into that arcade.
Yeah. We've been on for about 43 minutes. It's 1.5 easy without breaking a sweat.
I would want a physical business. And I feel like if you just pour back into whatever that funnel is to keep it going. If you care enough about it, instead of the Lamborghini, I would go with that route and just to stabilize everything. And I think it helps the comic book market that way too, because then you have, like, I know you had on his name, Mark Millar. He has his own pub and stuff. So it's like you kind of pour into a physical business that it enriches you and also keeps you going as well, so you can draw comics and make more stuff for people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think there's something that at the core of your message is like develop. I never subscribed to this all that much way back in the day, but now I'm a huge proponent of it, especially after being part of this show and seeing the reaction to it. I think there's something to be said about like building out your community, right? Building out those really strong, dedicated supporters of like, I'm down to do whatever. I'll give you an example. Shawn put out a hoodie this New York Comic Con, right? And I looked at it and I was like, oh, Shawn, that's going to be, and this is me talking very honestly and very naturally, very cynically. I thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, Shawn it's going to be a challenge, not impossible. It's going to be a challenge for Shawn to, because I've seen what some people have done whenever they bring merch in that capacity of like a hoodie or some like t-shirts or whatever, what a challenge it is, you know? And to his freaking credit, Shawn moved those. It went from like however many units that Shawn had. And I think by Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and it's a 3-day show. Like he was like, I'm down to my last 2, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I go like, holy mackerel. Number one, thank you so much to everybody who dropped by and supported that hoodie. But it just goes to show what community building does, you know, about like how down people are. And it was I'm not going to say it was an, you know, I wasn't going to say it's overpriced, at least not to Shawn's face. But
was it 50?
It was like the price tag on it. I don't think people were looking at the price tag. That's the part that really made me go like, oh my gosh, I want to support this guy. I want to support whatever it is that Inkpulp does, but most specifically Shawn, you know, and because and again, it didn't hurt that the thing looked amazing. But it just goes to show the moment you reach that critical mass of people wanting to come and support you, they'll support, you know, pretty much anything. And that to me was another sort of like point of data to be like, yeah, absolutely. Shawn does not have to put original art on the table. He can just put Inkpulp merchandise, branded stuff, and it'll do well for itself. So congratulations to Shawn, but also huge thank you to our community, you know, for showing up.
Thank you. Well, I do want to say
sexy faces, you know, that helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few things. I think what helps, it wasn't just like a logo. Like it was, Inkpulp doesn't just sell itself. It had to be something that I knew my fan base would enjoy wearing, like the graphic, while being Inkpulp. I think it was a mix of the two. And the other thing was the reason the price point was high was I was like, if I'm stepping into this, I know that everything I've built is built in this idea of craft. So if I'm going to step into clothing, I need these to be really high quality, like craft clothing.
They were.
Yeah, I went with 100% cotton, extra thick hoodies. I had all these little, like I had the nice strings added into it, logo on the sleeve, like all these little touches that made it something not just a throwaway like piece of apparel, but something special.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that. I'm the same way. I'm offering a t-shirt and I want to make sure it's what is it? Canvas and something, the really nice soft fabric. And because I've gotten stuff before and you put the shirt on, you're like, whoa, this is really like crunchy and the graphic is super thick. And I want it to be like silk screened or something where it's nice. And if you're going to pay the money for it, it's got to look good. And I almost think I should order it ahead of time instead of expecting people with a picture to see what it looks like. Because you know how material and shirts are. There's just no way to know.
Sure.
Yeah. But what I'm hoping for is that same sort of that spirited community in as far as have you built and cultured it, you know, with your fan base shows up for you. And I think it's great. I would just be curious to know how you're going to engage with them moving forward. In our case, I got like sort of the fragments of it because I was sitting right next to Shawn. So that was kind of nice to observe. I'd be curious as to what next steps would be for you once the book comes out. Is it like shaking a bunch of hands and like going to as many conventions as possible?
Kissing babies? Yeah.
Yeah, that's don't do it like Matteo and use tongue. You know what I mean?
Not in the mouth.
Yeah. Not in the mouth.
I use the tongue,
yeah.
but in their ears.
Yeah. And don't like smell them like for a prolonged amount of time. You know what I mean? And don't grab them from their mothers and say, my baby, and run away. You know, don't do that strategy.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be curious. I'd be curious what next steps are for you. You know, like do you have any sort of... Yeah, is it?
More conventions for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'd love to build out that arcade at some point. I mean, I'm seriously thinking about it. It's like,
for sure.
I would love to do it. But yeah, definitely more
idea.
conventions. I'm going to keep streaming. And I mean, I'm so used to connecting with people online that's not going to change. And
cool.
I get to show them more of the behind the scenes stuff. And, you know, we all do our podcasts and stuff. So people, they always ask us, how do we get started? AI is discouraging and distracting and it's horrible. And it's funny because I just watched Shawn's video on AI. I think a couple of days ago I was watching. I'm like, I'm curious what because of the way that it looked. I'm like, what is Shawn going to say about AI? And that whole thing was very interesting. And I think I heard Eric also say that you're not really threatened by AI, but the kids coming up now, they are scared of it. And I told them, I asked everybody in my live stream, I think there was probably 50 people. I said, well, let me ask you guys this personally. Do you find it attractive? Are you guys buying into that stuff? And most all of them said no. I'm like, well, there you go. There's nothing to worry about because you inherently don't care for that stuff. So you shouldn't worry about that. Like your problems are still going to be competing if you want to compete with other artists or just being seen regardless of AI or not. They flood the market. People who are gravitating towards those things, you lost them already. But most of the time with people who love comic books, there's like this inherent need for the human behind it to work on it. Like whether it's story or art. And so then after that, I think most of them felt better like, oh, well, look, these are my peers and people that want to do what I do or they love comics. They don't gravitate towards AI. So that shouldn't be an issue. I think this coming, granted, a lot of people in film lost their jobs, which is sad. Yeah. But then that also means there's going to be a Kickstarter version of filmmaking at this point.
Exactly.
Crowdfunding a film, which is more, you go to the fans, you make it and you build it. It's going to be way bigger. There's going to be so many of them that Hollywood can't keep up with the amount of movement that happens with like independent filmmakers, which I fully am backing and believe in. That's why I started Epic West Films when I first was talking to you guys and I had like that little red camera. It's like slowly just building that out, because eventually it's going to come down to, I want to make a film. Let's go kickstart this thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I feel like the more corporations and big companies just lean into AI, it sucks. People lose their jobs. But what it's going to do is it's going to bring this wave of creators giving their vision directly to you with no corporate filter involved. And
Which is
we're going to have, I think it's great. We have this wild west of independent art coming out. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I think, and that's where the silver lining is. I mean, when you're in the thick of it, it doesn't look like it. But if you look at it from a different perspective, you could take full advantage of the fact that now you can do your own thing. And it might have hindered you at first because there's always that safe job, you know what I mean? And so now that you're kind of left to your own devices, I think maybe that opens up all the floodgates to what you wanted to do for yourself, which I guess me personally, I guess that's what's happening now. It's like I can't fall back on working on other books that aren't my own. I have to just take this leap of faith and I might, I know we're saying $1 million from the future, but it may only make the printing amount because no one heard that it was coming out because there's such a short runway. But at the same time, I have to do it. I said I would. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of resetting your expectations, right? Like the moment you start doing things a bit more grassroots, a little bit closer to the heart, you kind of, you have to assume that you're starting small, and from there I keep going back to my buddy Tim Lim, who produces Common America. Between him and Mark Pellegrini, I remember what Campaign 1 did, and now they're at Campaign 11 for Common America 11, and they're still going, and that thing is sustaining itself.
I saw that,
awesome.
On Kickstarter.
That thing pretty much, I mean, Tim still has to draw it, Mark still has to write it, but it's core fan base. I forgot what Tim said offline about how much they're growing every time,
That's
it's
amazing.
not just the same people coming back. It's the it's a percentage. And as long as there's that continual growth, the what do you call it? The graph doesn't have to like L, but it does, it does climb. Each and every campaign gets better. And if there is a model that I point to be like, oh, consistency is key, right? Obviously there's a bit of math that needs to be done there. They understand their audience. They know what they're looking for. But on top of that, you just add consistency. Now they're book 11. And I think, independent of how successful it is, and I think this is something that we can all take to heart, because obviously you need to have your metric. You can't go broke, right? Things need to pay for themselves, and light needs to it needs to stay on. But I think there's something to be said about the relevancy of something. This goes back to something that Todd said. There's something to be said about the relevancy of something when it's consistently coming out. And I remember a similar story with Hellboy. Like Hellboy, as good as it was, I don't know its numbers, but you can't deny 6 volumes of something, as he's continuously drawing it. And I think there's something to be said about that, so persist and just maintain telling that story. Yeah. And eventually people are going to, I genuinely believe this may be sort of like whatever coming from a weirdo head, but I think people are eventually going to start paying attention. 6 volumes in. Todd is saying 50. Get out of here, Todd.
I know, he says 50, and you and I were talking about that. I'm like, I'll try, but people have to like my stuff. What if they after 10 they're like, no, hard no. But and I think if I'm being completely transparent, I understand. Like, yes, I did Lola, and I was working for other people. Now I have my own IP, and they think it looks cool, but there's no proof that this thing is going to be anywhere near as good as I say it is, or I want it to be, or they hope it is. Yeah. There's just no proof, and there's not a whole lot out there. So even if I've done stuff, there's no guarantees that it's going to do that well. It's not because I don't think people want me to succeed as much as they're like, we're not sure yet, So
for sure.
I understand that. And so there's like that chip on your shoulder. You're like, well, I have to make it not just good this time, but the next time. And so I have to make it well enough financially where I could just keep pumping these things out because I care enough about it. So that's where I have anxiety. I couldn't sleep last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make just enough so I don't have to do other things, that I could focus on this book. And I woke up in broke a sweat. And then I got your text message at 5:45 in the morning. You're like, I'm so excited. I'm like, man, I did not sleep last night.
I think it's just a matter of stacking. That's like muscle building and stacking things in your favor. So you're already doing a handful of things that are right. That runs in parallel to what Common America does, which is they listen to their fans. Like they listen to them super intimately. If there's something within the context of the book that gets like a bump, to use a wrestling term, they'll lean into it pretty hard. They have
oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. They have a trajectory in a direction in which they obviously want to take the story. It's not 100% fan based, but they are paying attention to everything that their fans are saying. And in the best way possible, their fans are just like hyper focused on everything that they put out, including Easter eggs that are going on in the background. So you're already doing that right by sort of having that sort of fan participation when you're streaming. So that's super smart. Getting your book done, what sounds like 75% done, because it's critical once you go live. It shouldn't be a massive gap between end of campaign and delivery. That's another thing that you're doing correctly, and Maddie's doing the same thing too. But the one that really surprised me, and I don't know if this is, I'd be curious to see how it impacts your campaign, is something that Shawn just said, which is like, how do you lean into these digital tiers if you're having issues distributing it to a decent fan base that are in the European side of the world,
Yeah, so that's the one thing I'm curious about. And then also how Shawn's doing it. You already had your book in PDF format. Mine is still being worked on. So I don't know how late is it opening it late work. So does it, until it's delivered, it's still open, or how does that work? Because I would love to have.
You can have late pledges open until you start fulfillment. So, and you close it manually. Like, you can't start the fulfillment process till you close the late pledges, and you can just have it open. And I think I had my late pledges open for 2 months. And I noticed it just reached a point where it was done. Like, all the, like the marketing of it and all that, like it just wasn't bringing in the numbers. Like, for a while, late pledges did great, but I think I reached a saturation point. But you can keep it open. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Because I do want people to get the digital version once it's done. And then, like you said, with the late pledges, because I wouldn't be able to do that, like where they get the digital right away unless the book was
Right.
done. So
Right.
I'm going to have to haul some ass here. But yeah, that would be ideal, I think, to do it that way. So
Yeah.
You
I mean,
haul ass better than the people in this room combined. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all trial by fire. I mean, it's like I'm still waking. Like I woke up at like 3 a.m. this morning, anxious about fulfilling Matteo's campaign, which hasn't even started yet. Like like we're doing great. Like I was blown away. My kids packed up like 100 books on Sunday, like boxed them and everything. And I was like, and they did a really nice job. Like they look great and they're efficient. So it's going well, but every little thing that I haven't done before that I have to do for the campaign has given me anxiety. Like little things like setting up a shipping label machine to my computer. Like that gave me like just stupid shit. But I've learned through the process, like you're just not familiar with it. It's not going to be hard. You'll figure it out.
I think the biggest cause of anxiety for Shawn is when he says, my kids, he's not talking about his children. He's talking about the children that Matteo stole from the conventions after he's stuck his...
got into the ear of.
Yeah, the one he's kissed, the one he's sniffed, the one he's run away with, and then he puts him in a garage where all these quote unquote kids are for Shawn. So I think that's the anxiety when the police, before the police show up. Okay, we are at an hour.
Yes,
so I'm going to prompt you now to please brace yourself. Thank you very much for coming.
But wait. Actually,
you don't need luck for this campaign. You've already made 300. What is it now? 1.5. Now it jumped up to 1.7.
I think it's 1.8.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Congratulations. Thank you
for all of you listeners, we have another half hour we're going to record with Sia. And if you want to hear that, subscribe to the Patreon. If you're already subscribed, then you get to hear it already. So with that being said.
Sia, other than the Kickstarter campaign, other stuff that you want to plug at the moment, or we good? All right.
No, just no, we're good. Yeah, that's it.
Well, plug your stream. Where can people see your stream? That's a good thing.
It's true.
At Sia Ohm, so SIYAOUM. So YouTube at Sia Ohm. Yep.
Perfect.
That's where you can see me every Saturday.
All right, Matteo. Here we go.
Yeah.
Is this where we dim the lights and it's different now? It's going to be like
my internet.
I could pull my curtains down.
Setting the mood.
Oh, this is going to get dark fast.
Inkpulp podcast.